My name is Ochuko Akejagbor, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, a macroeconomist, and the self-author of Next Money book. This recording is primarily an economic advisory presentation proposing the creation of a digital asset reserve by the federal government of Nigeria, as well as every state government. This reserve, when created, will consist of specific digital assets which will be utilized globally, with a proposed lifespan of at least 100 years. The US dollar is dying slowly. And as you can see in the graphical presentation, the dollar has lost about 96% of its purchasing power from 1913 till date. The famous Elon Musk even tweeted about the weakening dollar out of concern, likening it to the Zimbabwean currency. The solution to keeping the dollar as the world reserve currency has been decided upon since 1988, which is moving us from a Federal Reserve paper-backed dollar to a Treasury note dollar stroke digital dollar, which will be backed by gold. Moving the dollar to a digital form will help the US preserve its supremacy in the global financial market, as well as bring freedom and a level playing field in trade for both developed and developing countries. The world is rapidly changing as we are already at the precipice of the fourth industrial revolution, where robots and AI will control most economic and productive processes in every sector of the economy. By 2035, it is being said that cash as we know it will be gone from circulation, leaving us to rely on only digital payments, as it were. Most economic activities by 2035 will be run by AI and robotic agents, hence making digital currencies the new medium of exchange between robots and between humans and robots. How did we get here, you ask? In 1988, 2 years after I was born, the Economics magazine told us, get ready for a new world reserve currency, with almost no one knowing what that was all about. Remember, the internet as we know it then was not even available for commercial use in 1988, only accessible by the Department of Defense. However, in 1988, the technology that would provide the base protocol for the creation of this new world reserve currency was created and patented, known as distributed ledger technology, otherwise known as blockchain. Less than 5 years later, the internet was available to the world. This was referred to as the Internet of Information, where communication was decentralized and information was accessed freely from any location at any time, making the movement of information seamless and timeless. About 30 years later, after the horrific COVID-19 pandemic, the importance of the distributed ledger technology had gone mainstream due to its ability to record, store, move value freely, just as the internet moved information. This was no ordinary coincidence. The master plan was always to get you here to blockchain, where cross-border payments between central banks will be digital, seamless, borderless, decentralized, permissionless, truthful, less costlier, and timely. Have you thought about why the central bank created the e-naira in 2021? It was only because they got the order from the Bank of International Settlements, the World Bank, the IMF, the European Central Bank, as well as the G7 central banks, who signed a pact in 2018 to return the world to the gold standard after 1875 to 1914. However, gold this time will have a new friend known as digital assets. Every central bank was directed to create a functional central bank digital currency on or before November 22, 2025. This is to foster better multilateral trade between countries in a diverse multi-currency world. These central bank digital currencies will make for a more faster, more timelier, cost-effective payments between central banks. Countries who fail to create an active digital currency by November 2025 will get left behind, as the new global financial system will no longer adopt the central bank note currency system. My self-authored book, The Next Money, known as the Internet of Value Reset, contains this in full details. Having spoken about the history and development of digital assets, why should state governments and the federal government of Nigeria keep a digital assets reserve? 1. Digital assets is a new global class of assets, now globally recognized as a lawful medium of exchange instrument, as well as a trusted store of value and source of wealth creation. 2. Our federal and state governments creating their digital assets reserves will enable us to diversify from the traditional store of value like fiat, bonds, and gold, giving reserve owners a better opportunity to store in value. 3. Most importantly, the federal and state governments embracing these digital reserves will give them access to higher returns, as most of the reserve's digital assets composition are base layer protocols that will handle most important sectors of our global economy, like 1. Digital identity. Digital identity is going to be of very big importance for the smooth running of government elections and voting, global banking, education, healthcare provision, legal and illegal immigration, and more. 2. Digital identity is going to be governing global aviation, it's going to be enhancing space aviation, it's going to be ensuring global defense, global trade, global SWIFT payment systems, X-payment systems, and payroll. 4. Returns from these reserves could afford state governments and the federal government more access to wealth for socio-economic, human capital development projects for its citizens. In conclusion, the United States of America, under the leadership of President Trump, is taking the lead by creating a federal digital Fort Knox, which will have a composition of certain carefully selected utility digital assets. The United States of America is focused in making America the center attraction of digital assets. First, with the federal government, and now various American states are now following suit after creating their state digital Fort Knox. Here in Nigeria, we can do same and lead Africa by being the first African nation with the biggest digital assets reserve. Every executive governor that takes the initiative to create a digital assets reserve right now in 2025 will only not be on the right side of history, but also will be forever remembered as an economic and financial genius from 2030 and beyond, maybe even earlier. My office is open for consultation from the federal government and all 36 state governments on steps and procedures we can take for digital asset reserve creation, for utility digital assets identification and selection, utility digital assets reserve onboarding, and of course, digital assets custody. I am Ochuko Akejagbor. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Many have called me the first crypto president. That's an honor. I really do consider that a very big honor, actually. And starting on day one, we ended the Biden administration's war on crypto. It was an absolute war and very unfair. And we unleashed American innovators to do what you do best, lead the world into new frontiers. We ended Operation Choke Point 2.0. I created the first presidential working group on digital assets. I named a pro-freedom, pro-innovation SEC chair, a great man named Paul Atkins, and we created the United States Digital Asset Stockpile. But we are not done yet. My administration is working with Congress to pass the Genius Act, supporting the creation of dollar-backed stablecoins. And we also will be working to create clear and simple market frameworks that will allow America to dominate the future of crypto. And congratulations to everyone at this exciting time in your industry and in our country's life. I wish you all the best of luck.